everybody. So today I wanted to celebrate an amazing woman who did some incredible work in her presentation. And I'm hoping that as we're having this discussion, it's going to be an encouragement for you, a Christian professional woman, as you see what's possible in a very short period of time if you just apply certain principles. So today I have with me the beautiful Stephanie Thomas, who is a director of communication in a nonprofit organization. And she also designs amazing templates, show it template. Well, I should put it this way. She is a show it template website designer for wedding vendors. And she's just amazing. She's very creative and everything she does is so beautiful. so, so it was an honor to work with her on her presentation. So Steph had a capstone presentation that she asked me for help with. And so she sent me a draft of her presentation on October 3rd. And then we started to work from then on. And then her capstone presentation was this Tuesday, which was when, Steph? That was the date?
October 28th.
October 28th. So if you can imagine from October 3rd to October 28th, we were meeting at various times working on her presentation. And this is how it went. So let's start first of all, Steph, with just saying welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Lovely to have you. Okay, so could I ask, Steph, what were you feeling about your presentation at the beginning of our time together?
I was feeling I didn't really know where to begin, and I had put the PowerPoint together, so I knew like the layout that I wanted, but in terms of the script, I was feeling unsure of. And then thinking about the presentation piece, like actually speaking, I was getting very nervous about that. So when I came to you, I had a very rough draft. And
I
then we started from
remember.
there.
Yes, I remember. You said she had a beautiful presentation. It had all of the content in it already, and then she had already presented it on a recording, and then so it was good because then it was a good starting point for us to work together. And I have to say that Steph also had emailed me, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying this. She had emailed me and said, "I just want to get through this," and and I said, and I was like, no, we're not just going to get through this. You're going to be excited about your presentation. And honestly, I feel like for a lot of us, when we are nervous and we're nervous about presenting, that is the initial feeling that we all have. So if you, as a Christian professional woman, has felt that sense of, oh, I just want to get through this, you're in the right place because we've all been there where it feels like torture that you just want to let it pass through you and get it over with. But what I help you to do and what Steph went through was that I get you to that place of actually looking forward to it and being excited about it because you'll know exactly what to do. So, Steph, that's how you're feeling. I remember that. And so then having done that, having had that initial presentation that she gave me, then we had a meeting together where we went through it step by step and looked at all the slides because the first thing we always do is to look at the content of of your presentation to make sure that it makes sense, it flows, you can speak, you are able to speak from it well, that everything makes sense on the part of just even is your audience going to understand what you're saying? Is it coherent? Is it clear for them? And I act as a sounding board for all of those things as we're going through that together. So what were the highlights for you in terms of that whole process when we were going through it, Steph?
I have to say, working on the content piece was so helpful because I didn't know what my audience might not know. And having you come in and say like this, doesn't really connect well, or, this should be more clear. What do you mean by this? That was so helpful because going through every part of the presentation, I just felt so confident in the content itself. So when I knew that I'm going to be presenting great content, I just felt better about the presentation overall.
Yeah.
And I have to say, when you were talking about in the beginning how you were telling, I wanted to kind of get through it, and you were like, no, you are not going to just get through it. I couldn't imagine at that point just being excited for a presentation. Like, I couldn't really see myself actually being excited to speak. But somehow I got there and it was magical. I couldn't believe that happened, but it really did. And it was all thanks to working together.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, it's always it's an exciting moment where suddenly things start to click.
It
And
did. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And what about, we talked about mindset. What worked, what helped you in terms of your mindset and changing it from where it was in the beginning and how you were feeling as we're going along?
I think a lot of the mindset was really taking into consideration and practice what you told me. So, a lot of the things that you said, just about feeling confident and like practicing my power pose and telling myself I am excited to share this content with everyone and that they're going to really just, I'm sharing something like really great with them. I'm sharing a gift with them, essentially. And just thinking of it that way, that I have something wonderful to share, made my mindset, it shifted my mindset from just wanting to get through it to wanting to share this with them.
Yeah. And I remember that. It was really fun. And I have to say, Steph is amazing because she took on board everything we talked about and she ran with it. So she was like a star student, so to speak, because she really just, she did not, bulk on anything I said. She took it in and she used it and then it worked for her. And there was something else that I feel like might be useful for other ladies who hear this. And that was, we also addressed any nagging thoughts that you were having at the back of your mind, because we realized that was the other thing that was making you so nervous. And so we actually had a moment where we kind of listed out the things that you were feeling at the back of your mind. And then we did an exercise. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, feel free to share the exercise we did. And I do want to say I did have negative thoughts about like I never thought of myself as a great speaker. I never enjoyed speaking. I didn't think it came naturally to me at all. And I have to say it really doesn't come naturally to me, but working together, I feel so much better. It's like a complete shift in my speaking and the confidence that I have now.
Yeah.
So even though it's not like something that I've always been excited about. Now I know I can do it.
Yes.
And that's just, I don't know, it's a complete change for me and I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, the exercise that we're referring to is something that I learned years ago, probably 15 years ago, from a pastor who was in a lot of emotional torment. And what had happened was he actually ended up going to a retreat to to work out some emotional things that had happened, I think, in his childhood that had never been dealt with. And as he was at this retreat, crying out to God, saying, God, can you take this pain away? God said to him, I can't take your pain away. You have to give it to me. And so he learned the practice of literally taking whatever emotion he was having and putting it in an imaginary pouch or a bag of some sort and handing it to God. And as he handed it to God, then he would wait and say, God, what do you want to give me back? And God would give him a different emotion, a sense of healing or a truth or a comfort of some sort that he needed in that moment. And then his healing became progressive and he was healed. And that is something that I've used in my own life. And I've also used with anyone I've worked with, because it's been so powerful in inviting God into those moments where you're having negative thoughts about yourself and knowing how to deal with them with God, as opposed to just ignoring them, and instead acknowledging them and actually putting them into some sort of a mental pouch, giving it to God and saying, God, what do you want to give me back? And I remember when we did that with Steph, something immediately changed. Do you remember this, Steph?
I do. And I remember the words I heard too.
Oh, yes. Are you, oh, do you want to share what those words are?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was so interesting because I heard the words peace and confidence is what I was receiving.
Yes.
And that's what
Yes.
I actually got the night of the presentation. So that was magical.
It was incredible, yeah. And it came so quickly, right? When you
It
when
did.
you gave it to him and then
Yeah.
you received it, immediately he said, I'm giving you peace and confidence.
Mhm.
And so then that, from that moment on, as we were practicing, then it was also then building Steph up and steadying her to know that this is how I'm going to walk through my presentation. Oh, there was one other thing that we did that might be useful that we did.
Oh, yeah.
We did another exercise, right? Do you remember that?
Mhm.
Do you want to share that one?
Yeah, so essentially you walked me through just envisioning myself through the presentation. So leading up to it, during and after, and just the details. I had closed my eyes, and you were just walking me through how it's going to go, and picturing that, I enjoyed, that picturing myself doing well. And then I think that night that's how it went. It went even better actually, but that was very powerful.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I learned to do without even realizing it. And again, I share with all of my clients, which is it's so important for you to have an visual image of you presenting well, because
Mhm.
most of the time when you've been so nervous for so long and you've just been envisioning this terrible experience, that's what you carry when you're speaking, and then you don't speak well, and then you're nervous and you feel overwhelmed. But now when you decide ahead of time, this is the picture I want to carry, and you actually give yourself the space and time to envision it, and you now carry that in your presentation preparation as well as when you deliver it. It's a completely different experience, and I've seen that for myself. So it was exciting again to see you take it on board and run with it. Because Steph even emailed me the morning off and she's like, I know it's gonna go well. I can see it. So, okay. So, anything else that you wanted to mention in terms of the highlights during the preparation of your presentation?
Well, there's so much actually because every step I just felt better and better. So I knew I was in great hands to begin with, but after we looked over the content and started working on it, we made tweaks along the way. And then once we were in a pretty good place, then we got into the details of my voice, and that just all the feedback you gave me has been incredibly helpful. And I can't imagine, I don't know, it's just working together. I just got it from you. I don't know how else I would have been able to learn it, but it was just the details that you gave me and the constant feedback and advice. It was just all so helpful.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. Is there one that stands out? There's probably one that I'm always talking about that I'm probably encouraging you to say right now, which is the Upspeak.
I was gonna
And
say Upspeak, yes, and in one of my final recordings that I sent you, I thought, it was pretty good, but then I didn't realize that I had throughout the whole presentation, and then I learned how, like, we went, through various parts of the presentation, and I was repeating them to you until I removed the Upspeak, and you showed me examples exactly of how to say it without the Upspeak. So that was very helpful because it's hard to break that. It's
mhm,
when you're so used to speaking like that, or
mhm.
thinking that maybe that's how it sounds good,
Yes,
you don't really hear yourself, but then you
yes.
heard it, obviously,
I
and I was
yes.
able to make those changes by working together.
Yeah. It's and by the way, if anyone doesn't know what upspeak means, it means speaking as if you're continuously asking a question. So it has this intonation literally of every nuance, every pause, every end of your sentence has a question mark and a questioning tone. And so the way it sounds is that it's actually it's anxiety inducing for the person who's speaking, but also for the people who are hearing it. And you will notice sometimes even when someone does a video on YouTube or something like that, unfortunately, sometimes in the comments, people will notice and say, wow, that was really hard to listen to. And they're not being cruel. It's just because they were noticing how much it was affecting them. And it's become such a natural way of speaking for a lot of people that it's hard to even notice it sometimes, but you can tell its effect. And so it was so exciting that Steph immediately got it when I pointed it out, and then she started to practice and did very differently. And by the way, she says she's not a natural speaker, but she actually is. She speaks really, really well.
Thank you, Brenda.
It's the truth. I was amazed because the moment the Upspeak sort of left, her voice carried so much beautiful authority. Just, it was amazing. I was like, wow, did you hear that? It was like,
And I could hear it. I could. I saw
yes.
the difference, and yeah, it was incredible. And I have to say, yeah, I thought I wasn't a great speaker, but it was weird to compliment myself after the presentation, but I was like, "Wow, I did really good." Like, I did better than I thought. Like, I knew I'm gonna do well because we worked together, but I did great. So I am very proud of myself for it.
Double high five.
Yes.
No, but it was so great when I even heard, because we were sending each other text messages. So she was telling me how she was feeling. That actually leads on to then, how were you feeling the day of the presentation after all of the preparation we had done? Mentally, getting rid of negative thoughts, and then giving you the clarity of your voice, the clarity of your content, but also the impact and clarity of your own voice. How are you feeling?
I was feeling very positive. And again, like before we worked together, I couldn't have imagined feeling that way the day of a presentation that big. But I felt calm, I felt positive, and I definitely felt at peace. And I was excited. I was actually excited to for it to be my turn to present. And I just had very positive energy all day, and especially during and after.
It was incredible. First of all, we should mention that Steph, we had, after the final time that we had together, she had a few days, like 3 or 4 days, right, where you practice by yourself, and I think you were doing it like once a day. Is that correct, Steph?
Yeah, I was practicing once a day for at least, I think, 2 weeks. And every time we got together to work on it, I was, implementing what I've learned from you.
Yeah, which is probably why you got such amazing results so quickly. In that is that you took it on board and you were immediately putting action to it, and then you were seeing the progress and the results, which was
Mhm.
amazing. And there was something else that I was going to mention there, that, oh yes, I remember Steph texted me the afternoon, like a couple of hours before her presentation, and she's like, "I'm so ready."
Yes.
Like, yes, you're so ready, And so it was very much to her own conscientiousness and her hard work, and of course also to the work that we had done. So it was very exciting. Okay, so how was the actual delivery then of your presentation? How did that go?
The delivery, I just felt so in the moment. When
Mm,
I was speaking, like, I could tell I was doing really good, like, throughout, and I was excited to share the content. I just felt really good. I don't know,
yeah.
it was a great experience,
Mm,
and I felt like, I wasn't nervous, which I was
yes.
surprised. I was very surprised I wasn't nervous. Like, I thought, like, my hands would be clammy and sweaty, and I just didn't feel any of that.
Oh,
And the presentation itself felt like it went by quickly because I was so in the
wow.
moment. So, yes, and I just knew that I did well, and all thanks to you and having such a wonderful coach. Because I have to say, all the times that you just cheered me on and were like, "Yes, you're getting it," and hearing it in your voice, like the encouragement that I received, it was just very empowering. I think empowered is the word to use
Mm,
throughout the whole process. So
mm.
I'm so appreciative of everything.
Was my pleasure. It's my joy and my pleasure to do this with all of the women, but especially with you. I mean, it was just like every time we do this, it was so much fun, and it lights me up as much as we can tell. So okay, so that was the end of your presentation and your delivery. Okay, so what's next? Do you think you might speak again sometime?
I actually did envision myself, being like, yes, I can. So to answer your question, yes, I can
Yay!
definitely envision myself speaking again. And even afterwards, I'm like, yes, I can do this again. And I'm not going to be like approaching it being scared or, just from like such a negative mindset like I had beforehand.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you've
and
shifted that in me.
which is really exciting. That's the whole point. I think when the reason why I'm asking that question is because even Steph knows this. When we were talking and I was preparing her for this presentation, I kept saying to her, I'm not just preparing you for this presentation, I'm
Mhm.
preparing you for the future ones as well, because I know
Yeah,
you're going to have more, which I'm always excited to see, because that should be the plan. It shouldn't be that it's a one and done. After all of this effort, you want to use it more and more, especially when you know what to do, right?
definitely.
And yeah. So that's a wonderful, Steph. This is awesome. So I thank you so much for this time together. Is
Of
there
course,
anything else
thank
you want
you.
to share? Anything else that we didn't say that you wanted to share?
Oh gosh, I think I'm gonna remember things afterwards
It's okay.
that I
It's
forgot
okay.
to share, but it was just an incredible experience, I have to say. Working with someone who genuinely cares about your success and who knows exactly the advice to give you to make you specifically a better speaker. I was in the best hands possible.
Oh, thank you, Steph. It was my pleasure. And again, thank you for just being such a brilliant student who just took everything on. I was actually bragging about Steph to somebody else where I was like, she was amazing. She was such an amazing student. She just
Oh, thank
so
you.
conscientious, and the results showed. So thank you so much for this time. And for any of the ladies, oh, there's light. I'm sorry if you can see the striated light on my face. This the light just started to shine. But for anyone who might be wondering what we did, what I did was a condensed version of Standing Ovation Speaker, which is my 12-week course where I guide you in terms of getting rid of any negative self-critical thoughts that you have and helping you to discover who you are and your own identity and your value, all of your gifts, all of your talents, pretty much helping you to discover your confidence through how God sees you. And then we go into your speaking skills. So this is normally 12 weeks, but then we condensed it for this time because Steph had a very quick deadline that was coming up that we needed to prepare for. And it worked out beautifully. So if you want a starting point for yourself, either there are two things that you can do. Either you can reach out to me and I'll send you my website where you will see Standing Ovation Speaker, or watch my free masterclass Confident Speaker You. That is a really good starting point in helping build your own confidence moving forward. And for Steph, if you would like to reach out to her, Steph, what's the best way for people to reach out to you if there are any wedding vendors who want to work with you for their show it website templates?
Absolutely. So my business name is Arden Lane Studio. So ardenlanestudio.com. And you can email me at hello@ardenlanestudio.com.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for this time together. And again, I look forward to your success, just like Steph had, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.